My Nation.
Yeah, this is Chucky Gordon reading Calypso Monarch 2014 and 2015. What we say, back to back. This is to the Caribbean to get
In you. Trinidad.
So first of all, Chucky, congratulations on your recent win. We're really excited for you.
Thank you.
Tell us, what do competitions like that mean for your 7-year career in Calypso?
Well, the Calypso Monarch is the most prestigious competition in the carnival, and it represents the very essence of, you know, the calypsonian and where he comes from in terms of the voice he represents, and the originality in terms of where the calypso came from as a resistance to established order. So the Calypso Monarch and that stage came out of that from since the 1940s. So to be able to be crowned a monarch is a fantastic achievement, rich with history, rich with heritage, and is really important to the carnival landscape. As I said previously, it's the most prestigious monarch in the carnival, is the oldest monarch, and is really meaningful because it's a value that my family has held ever since I was a child. Looking at the Calypso Monarch, it was almost like a religion. Every carnival Sunday night going through the Calypso Monarch, and I remember certain very distinct images like the Carib sign in the center in the 90s, you know, and people like Stalin winning, coming through the ranks. They had the Sandra, the Sugar Aloes, who were before my time. So, you know, it's really a value system held by the family. So it's a great sense of fulfillment also, personally, individually, but also in terms of the family. And another thing I wanted to mention is, because I hail from the community of Laventille are the people who created the carnival. So coming from the Calypso Monarch, it's really the very belly of Laventille as well. So being an original Laventillian and having one is also symbolic and significant for me. So it's meaningful in a number of ways, at a number of levels.
So I love that you actually know the history of the competition, which is rare for a lot of people. So tell us a little bit about your genesis into Calypso music, how you got started.
Well, I started at a very young age in Junior Calypso Monarch. At the age of 8, I participated firstly in a number of school competitions. NJAC, NJAC as a system where they facilitate young calypsonians at different age groups. So I participated in all the categories coming through NJAC. I was successful at some, not so successful in others, but I was consistent in Junior Calypso throughout the years until I got to A-levels, and I completed A-levels when I entered university. Then I made the move from Junior Calypso to Senior Calypso. But my early foray into performing was not just Calypso based, because I was doing pan, I was also doing parang, I did a lot of theatre. So I was heavily involved in all aspects of the culture. Best Village was very important to me in the early years also, because it afforded me the opportunity to practice all areas of stage, all areas of performance, from singing to dancing to acting, and it taught me a lot about performance and stage. So when I entered into Senior Calypso, you know, people saw that manifest itself, and coming through the years, doing the Senior Calypso and then jumping into soca in the late 2000s, you know, I really, the balance that I represent now is really as a result of all the work that I've put in the previous years. In addition to which, it's important to mention my influences. Daddy, who was heavily involved in all aspects of the culture, he passed away 5 years ago. He was a pan judge, parang arranger, pan arranger. He was the Best Village musical director for the group I was involved with. He judged Panorama, he judged Soca Monarch, Calypso Monarch, you name it. He was heavily involved in all areas of the art form. So that influence is really what created who I am today. Because what I was exposed to is really what formed part of my personality and my very being, and my very inner essence of who I am. So Daddy was important where that is concerned, but also my uncle Penguin, who passed away 2 years ago. He was a former Calypso Monarch and a road march winner. So in terms of the Calypso Monarch as well, the family would have had experience with him where that is concerned. So it's almost as though, as I said, it's a value system. So the influences were also very important in terms of my development into music and culture.
So it's clear that you are a very versatile artist and you've had a lot of positive influences.
Right.
Talk about the business of Chucky the brand. Like, how do you plan to differentiate yourself moving forward?
Well, I think I've already done that to some extent, because I mean, an indication of that is the fact that when people call me to perform now, they say, hey, one guy is one soca, you know. I can't really think of anybody else in the market currently that could be recognized for that.
Right.
And I think that for me, by in and of itself, is already a differentiation. That is for me a niche market. The fact that you have somebody who could give you the traditional stuff, could give you political commentary, could talk to the issues, but then switch in a moment's notice to the party.
Right.
You know, I heard some comments coming out of the win 2 days ago, that we now seeing the development possibly of a modern day Sparrow. Because Sparrow did everything. He was able to touch on all bases and all types of issues and manage them very well. So I think that is the brand in and of itself, and it's just something I could further solidify by just continuing doing what I'm doing.
So if we're talking about the brand of soca and Calypso, let's talk about how we take that movement. I don't know, energy behind that movement.
Yeah. Well, my belief is the scope is there, the opportunities are there, but we need to create more universal type songs. The challenge with the calypsonian is that you can deal with universal topics, issues of philosophy, themes of love, but then when it comes to the local landscape, in the local context, people want to hear the issues. So it's a difficult balance to strike. So I think for me moving forward, which is what my focus was in 2014, after winning in 2014, was to try to create more universal type calypsos that I could perform for a wider cross-section of the market, and also to an international audience. So I have a song called Sing From The Heart that I would look forward to performing. I have also a song called I Believe that I did. So coming out of this year's win again, I intend to redouble on that effort. And it's important for me now, because I think that's having that type of song and that type of music, a modern day calypso song that is palatable. I think that's the way to go. The soca is fine, finding the right song for soca. I think people are finding ways to achieve that. But personally, I think I want to take the responsibility, along with some other calypsonians who I'm encouraging to do more universal type calypsos. Not just localized and based and entrenched on Trinidad and Tobago issues, but somebody coming from anywhere in the world could appreciate and understand in calypso form, and that is palatable, and that is the focus moving forward.
So finally, it sounds like you've really studied your craft, you really know what you're doing. What are your plans moving forward to continuously improve as you move on?
Well, I mean, exposing myself to different artists and different styles, and I believe performance is one of the greatest components of an artist's career, because your ability to deliver on the stage is is how you're gonna grab your fans' attention, grab people's attention, because as the way you're gonna generate income.
Right.
You know, that's in primary way. I mean, apart from merchandising and sales and all those other things, those are nice. But if your performance is on point, everything else can come after.
Right.
So my focus always is to continue to improve on performance ability, in terms of the understanding of audience engagement, your voice, use of voice, your tone, that sort of thing is things that I constantly try to focus on. And then I believe once I get that right and I'm able to master any stage, I think everything else will fall into place. So that's really my focus on improvement. In addition to what I previously mentioned, trying to do more universal type calypsos that everybody could enjoy across the board. Because you have some political songs you could do, some songs dealing with social issues, but you could only perform them for a smaller audience.
Right.
You know, and that was my experience over the last year. So having that experience and having learned from that experience, I will focus moving forward.
Well, it really was a pleasure speaking to you. Congrats once again.
Thank you.
Look forward to see what comes next.
No problem.
Thank
So, we live.
take it on.